to another episode of Street Fight. Another different episode. I'm having another panel show. So last week, I'm going to explain everything before we start. Last week, my partner Brett got arrested for marijuana. He didn't get arrested, he just got pulled over. It sucked. He's going to talk about it tomorrow, and it'll be up soon. And so I did a show with Cushbomb, Matt Christman, and Will Menaker from Twitter. And we just did a regular old show. And now we're back with Felix Biederman, or By Your Logic, Felix.
Hey, hello everybody. 10-4 Bravo Alpha.
So
we got skinnies at our 6.
Are these friendlies? Are you guys friendlies?
Are you Feb 17?
Feb 17 martyrs? Feb 15.
Core, I'm gonna ice these motherfuckers. Alpha 0 Omaha Delta negative.
We're lighting them up.
Roger that. You were weapons free. You were weapons free.
Can I pop in and ask a quick question? So this show's about 13 hours. The Benghazi movie by Michael. Who is it?
Bay.
Michael Bay.
Right? I didn't want to say Michael Bay because I didn't want to believe that he made the fucking movie.
No,
you know?
the auteur behind Bad Boys 1 and 2, Transformers 1, 2, 3, and 4, The Rock, and Pain and Gain.
Okay, The Rock is good, and I liked Pain and Gain the first time.
I really like
both
Pain
of
and
those
Gain.
movies.
But so I want to ask first, because that's the message that what you guys just did there. Is that how they talk through the whole movie? Did he try to write like how military people talk, or did he get like a transcript and just put that dialogue in the movie, or does it sound very
the book
made
is
up?
The film is based on a book by one of the operators, the one that Jim from The Office plays, and so I'm sure that all of that. Yeah, there's a lot of mill speak in it, and I'm sure a lot of it comes directly from.
I'm sure they had a lot of
from his
technical
memory of it.
advisors on
Yeah.
set.
Oh, see this. Yeah, I didn't see the movie. I'm very lucky in that I get to live this movie with Matt, Felix, and Will, because I haven't seen it either. But I spend a lot of headspace in the area where this movie is a very relevant thing to people.
Yeah, anyone who's dicked around on Twitter at all over the last 2 or 3 years has spent some time in this headspace of Benghazi. But I guess just to connect it, this is good because we're sort of going to school you on this film, which not very many people have seen also, which I think is interesting.
Which is hilarious.
It made about $13 million on the opening weekend, I think 50 to date. But this is interesting because like The Bastard Executioner or Sons of Anarchy, I think it's more interesting to talk about a work of entertainment that is a moral and aesthetic atrocity, but still maintains a kind of weird integrity in how, in its sort of strange convictions and vision, in a way that, like, I don't know, like the Star Wars remake just doesn't have integrity like that.
There's a ideological through line to this film that you can respect, if only for its consistency.
And Michael Bay is an auteur. He has a vision in all of his movies.
He is Exhibit A in the case for vulgar auteurism, no question.
I guess just I wanted to kick things off actually by reading a paragraph from an article by Christopher Hooks, who is a very good writer and journalist. You can follow him on Twitter at CD_Hooks. But he wrote an article for Gawker about going to see the premiere of this movie at Cowboys Stadium. That was like hosted by Jerry Jones, and all the actors and the real operators were there, along with 30,000 other people to watch. I
believe also that the red carpet interviews were conducted by Mrs. Chris Kyle, which is an extra layer of absurdity.
Oh, Mrs. Chris Kyle, as we all remember her as the wife of Chris Kyle, American Sniper. Yes,
right.
A movie that did quite well, but
yes, much better.
Not so much. All right, so I just want to read this opening paragraph because I think he frames the idea, the concept of Benghazi in a useful way. So, okay, I'm reading from him now. The 2012 attack on the American consulate in Benghazi means many things to many people. It is, at its most basic level, an actual human tragedy, one of an unaccountable number this country has been party to in the last 15 years. Lives were lost, and they might have been saved, and it's hard to say why or what good it did. It is also a meme, a punchline, and a political cudgel. For the people who care most about it, Benghazi is less a shorthand for a historical episode than a concept, an abstract descriptor of a feeling shared by an uncountable number of people in this country that the nation's leaders are traitors by way of incompetence, malice, or both. But on Tuesday, people lined up by the thousands to see Benghazi begin a new life as something else entirely, an entertainment product. I think that's a good way, a good way of thinking about that. There's many layers to this Benghazi story, but I think Michael Bay's 13 Hours is maybe the definitive take on it all.
Benghazi. Say it soft, and there's music playing. Say it loud, and it's almost like praying.
I think the thing that you're bringing, I wish it would have taken off. Actually, now I'm kind of sorry because you're saying that it bombed, and like that, there's a certain good in that too. It's like, but Dinesh D'Souza's movies bomb too. Like anything that's in that head, there's about. So you said it made $16 million or 13?
Yeah, something like that.
It's made $50 million like so far. And I don't think it's in theaters anymore. I mean, I don't even know if it's made back its budget.
It was relatively low budget for a Michael Bay movie. It probably will end up making money like most Hollywood movies do, but it's not by any standards a quote-unquote hit.
I would have liked to have seen a part 2 or some toys or something. Like, I think that, like, when they said they bought that, or no, this isn't the SEAL Team 6 one. I'm sorry, they're releasing a SEAL Team 6 one, though, too, aren't they?
Was that movie with real operators, the Act of Valor movie?
That was a real operators movie. And then what's more insane is that later in the summer, another movie is coming out. It was funded by Kickstarter. It's a zombie apocalypse comedy, but the twist is all of the cast is real operators and SEAL guys. And the Luttrell brothers are in it.
And all the zombies are Muslim.
Well, I mean, yes, that
subtext.
goes without saying. That's always the subtext. That's the subtext of every zombie movie. But
so are you kind of saying that like this is turning into like a thing that people are like into watching military guys?
There's going to be we have a grim future coming up where like every action movie, every studio is gonna have to be like, okay, what dead-eyed psychopath Medal of Honor winner can we get to be in this thing for 5 minutes, and then advertise it, to the heartland of violence fetishists that we're trying to appeal to.
It's going to be sad when the next Chris Kyle doesn't die because he brought a bunch of PTSD-addled veterans to shoot off fireworks or whatever asinine charity he had that caused that guy to shoot him. It's going to be sad when guys like Brendan Lee, when a pyrotechnic setup kills him.
Oh my God! Yeah,
it would have been so hilarious if Chris Kyle had still been alive when they were pimping American Sniper last year, because that guy was basically a dissociative nutcase, and like him going on TV to try to sell this movie, and this movie studio being like, "Yeah, go for it, Chris," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm actually the guy who killed Mike Brown. I was posted up on the I was posted up on top of the Walgreens across the street, and I saw him coming for that cop, and I neutralized the target." And they're like, "Oh shit, how are we gonna spin this?"
Yeah, he goes on Conan, and Conan's like, "So what's it like, being in Hollywood because you're this soldier?" And he's like, "I can look in people's hearts and see what their last thoughts will be when I kill them."
It's like, I met Brad Cooper. He's a nice guy, a faggot, but a nice guy.
I've heard that about him too.
We were robbed of that amazing train wreck, which would have been this gibbering nutcase trying to sell a Hollywood product. But I think that the reason that Benghazi failed as in the box office is because, I mean, not to give too much away because we're going to talk about the movie as we go on, but it ends on this note of loss and mourning and failure, and that has not been true of the other early year military films that have done well, like Act of Valor and American Sniper and Lone Survivor.
Lone Survivor, yeah.
Yeah, like even American Sniper, yeah, he dies at the end, but literally it's like a Poochie thing from The Simpsons, where like they pull his, he died on the way to his home sniper planet. It's after the film. The climax is him killing that non-existent Syrian sniper, and Lone Survivor is Marcus Luttrell murking all these Afghans and then and then getting out of there. Like, there's a moment of triumph, whereas Benghazi, which makes it really a truly fascist text, is the fact that it's so obsessed with failure and loss and weakness.
It's
but
true.
That's not. We're not there yet in terms of mass audience. That's not what people want to see.
Yeah, and it's interesting. In preparing for the show, I did a little homework and culled a bunch of reviews of 13 Hours, specifically from the conservative media, and they all universally love the movie. They all sort of talked about it in the exact same way. But the one thing that they all shared was the absolute conviction that it was going to be a big hit, and it was going to be a big fuck you to like liberal Hollywood, who spent the early 2000s making movies like In the Valley of Ella to to snores across the country.
I don't know how they process that, because like their whole whenever like a liberal movie tanks, they're like, free market spoken, bitch. I don't know how they handle a movie like Benghazi not doing well. I don't know how they could process that.
I'm sure there's already like a conspiracy theory. There's already going to be a thing where it's like, oh, the Council for Islamic Relations actually owns Lowe's movie theaters. Like, there's something fucking asinine.
Yeah, they just called it a bunch of bomb threats. That's what happened. The same guy who killed Scalia went around and browbeat movie theaters into like having malfunctions in the screen so that people couldn't see the movie.
They're really jumping for joy right now because Michael Moore's movie's like tanking, and it's like
what is this, 2004?
Yeah,
I know his movie. I know. I mean, like,
that's the funny thing is they are so obsessed with the idea that Michael Moore is some sort of liberal champion, like the idea that he's this incredibly relevant figure on the left.
Yeah, it's
whereas like he is about as relevant as like the what's up guys. It's like Michael Moore is as much a artifact of the Bush administration as like Alberto Gonzales. Nobody cares. What's Alberto Gonzales doing? No one cares. The same thing with Michael Moore.
I just want to. Sorry, I want to. I'm looking at it on my screen. This is. I want to read one thing from one of these reviews. This is from Sonny Bunch of the Washington Free Beacon.
Sonny Bunches of Oats.
Sonny Bunches of Oats. For those not familiar with him, he looks like one of the Rescue Rangers and reviews films for the Washington Free Beacon. And he also said that 13 Hours is sure to appeal to audiences that turned out for American Sniper and Lone Survivor. And if I would have agreed with him when I honestly thought this movie was going to be a hit.
Yeah, me too.
One line from him. While liberals may snigger and sneer at Bay's shot of terrorists shooting a fluttering American flag to ribbons as U.S. forces sit idly by and an American ambassador suffocates on diesel smoke, conservatives are far more likely to be enraged. And I just want to say, Sonny is absolutely correct.
Yeah, I laughed my ass off at that spot.
Yeah, me and Will had to like stop from laughing the entire time because in the theater that we saw it in, there was an operator in front of us. And I'm not saying that I couldn't have physically defeated him because I could have, but I didn't want us to get in trouble. I wanted us to see the movie.
Exactly. I wanted to have it wash over me, just unbiased.
But that's one of those things where he's making an unconscious admission there, because that shot, for any of you who've seen the movie and for anyone who after listening to this go and see it, the shot of them shooting the American flag is absurd. It is just this bathos-riddled piece of kitsch, and to say that people are going to be mad at it is to say that you're a fucking rube. I'm sorry. I know artistic choices, artistic responses are subjective, but I'm going to make a normative claim here. If you watch these screaming turbaned jihadis slow motion machine gun the American flag while it's on the end of the pillar or on the end of the flagpole, and you're like weeping, you're a fucking rube. I want to sell you a reverse mortgage. I want to sell you gold coins. I want to sell you survival seeds.
Now, to me, I'm sniggering. The image in and of itself is pretty funny, but I'm really more sniggering at the idea that someone like Sonny Bunch actually gives a fuck about this.
Well, that's the big
I can
joke.
just imagine a single
All these media figures, they all consider themselves tribunes to this mass of rubes who they have no respect for or connection to. I mean, Sonny Bunch, when he's going to get hammered at brunch every Saturday with his media elite friends, who are half of them are probably liberals or whatever, he has no connection to these people. He is just going, well, I think that the corn-stuffed fatties of the middle of the country are going to really respond well to this flag getting shut up. He has no fucking understanding.
Okay, Sonny Bunch may not personally care, but one person who I definitely know for sure emotionally does care and is rendered unstable by it is John Nolte of Breitbart.com.
Well, the LA Breitbart people are they're some touched gentlemen. They're not stable.
Writers on cinema today, but in his review of this movie, it says it opens with 5 simple words: "This is a true story." What it should have read was, "This is a true story the media has covered up. God damn these people to hell." And then he says,
"Yeah, it's true." I mean, like when I saw the first trailer and it said "Secret Soldiers of Benghazi," I thought, "What's Benghazi? I never heard of that." The media has covered this story up.
Nolte goes on and says, "I'm pointing and laughing at George Clooney, Robert Redford, Leonardo DiCaprio, John Cusack, blah blah blah." He lists every actor in Hollywood. Real Injustice, Modern Day Alamo, Heroes, bootlicking propagandists and liars, blah blah blah. This is the stinger though. In case I didn't mention it, 13 Hours is nothing close to political.
This film seeks to drown the liberal traitors to this nation's core values in an ocean of blood, but it is not in any way political. That's another hallmark of the sort of military fascism that the film promotes, the idea that, it transcends politics.
Well, that's the language. That's a perfect thing. That right there is perfect. They use all of that language because if you say it's a true story and all the dialogue is weird, like, that's a 10-4, good operator.
Eastbound down, going up and trucking. Gonna shoot these high G's all day long.
All of my experience with them is all my experience with walkie-talkies is through Smokey and the Bandit. So, but yeah, you can convince somebody that, like, I was convinced by Michael Moore to take another one. Like in 2004, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of convinced by this. Yeah, he got me. So by saying it's not political, they could get like a rube to trip into the movie that wouldn't have seen it before. And then people are obviously going to repeat, like, yeah, it's apolitical. It's a very apolitical movie.
Yeah, but nobody bought this line.
That's one of the reasons it didn't succeed. Because
they had to market it so hard to the people who really, for them, it's like the lifeblood of their politics.
Like the average guy who just likes action movies, he saw Benghazi and he was like, "Oh, that's some political bullshit. I don't want to watch that."
That's me. I watch every action movie, but when I saw that, I was like, I've never seen Lone Survivor or American Sniper either. The last one I saw was The Hurt Locker. That was the last big, like, I saw Zero Dark 30 too. So I've seen the propaganda movies.
They take a while to get to the and like the action scenes are cool. Like any time you spend a lot of money on action scenes, they're cool. But like they spend a lot of time setting up their weird worldview. Like they spend a lot of time like focusing on the world. The ideological divide between cuckolds and operators. Like, first get to the movie, like fucking Jim Halpert takes his ring off and he gets in the car and they're held up by like screaming guys who aren't even really speaking Arabic. They're just like yelling, Quran! And like his operator friend, like they both pull guns on them and like hold them so close to their face they would like the hammer would probably hit them in the fucking nose.
And it's also a foreshadow because they're calling for backup the whole time and being told, right off the bat that it ain't coming. You're on your own.
Right, they get out of there like just by their own wiles and alpha nature. And when they get to the base, there's like Gal from Breaking Bad is there, and he's like,
I just got done with a game of Settlers of Catan.
"Oh, great, more of the men who fuck my wife."
I gotta say, the one thing that blows my mind about that is that, okay, yes, Gale is a perfect beta cuckold, right? That's a great casting. But since you've already got Jim and Roy from The Office as the operators, how did they not cast Toby in that role? It would have been perfect. You guys, I really don't think you should go out there and rescue the ambassador right now. I don't think that would be right.
Now, Felix gets to, I think, one of the central messages of this movie that I think is probably summed up by this one line of dialogue that I think really encapsulates the whole movie, in which they get back to the CIA outpost for the first time. They meet their asshole station chief, played by David Constable, a Gale from Walter White's doomed lab assistant.
A guy who's essentially like a walking pant pleat.
And he's a total asshole and just basically tells them to just, shut up and do what you're told. You work for me. And then, like, Jim sort of sees this for the first time and he's like, oh, I don't know what I think about this. And then, like, one of the other, his fellow operators just sort of slaps him on the back and goes, don't worry about him, buddy. He gets off on telling alphas what to do.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And then part of that,
their authority in like an unnatural and secretly decadent and immoral way.
Yeah. And he at one point when he's arguing with these guys, he says, "We have the smartest people who graduated from Yale and Harvard dealing with this problem. It's not up to you." And then later on, after Jim or somebody does some awesome operator shit, they're like, I don't teach that at Harvard.
What I loved is like after like he has one of the scenes where he like brings Jim back to his office to yell at him like over like just some like office bullshit like wear looser pants. I don't like being reminded that you have a larger penis than me.
Oh, wait, there's a scene where he's in his office and they're outside doing CrossFit, like hammering giant tractor tires, and he's like, could you keep it down out there?
You get this gratuitous shot of the guys out there, like, flipping tires, like, doing bullshit CrossFit activities that would, like, really separate their spines in real life. And you get these gratuitous shots of them, they're, like, American flag tattoos while they're doing leg raises and shit.
There was some excellent beefcake.
Yeah, and he just peeks his head out the door, and he's like, "Ooh, I hear this enough from my wife's door when she's taking me."
No, but the message is hammered home again and again and again in this movie that really there are two types of men, and I'm not counting the Libyans because technically they're not human beings.
They're savages.
Right, the Libyans are like a species of insect in the movie.
It's like Starship Troopers, basically. They don't really have any dialogue. They're not. I mean, I'm not like begging for a movie to like humanize the enemy or any weak shit like that. But they're not a factor in the movie at all.
So are they just like outside?
They're just like they're just at the gates. They're just like creeping around.
They're like anything. They're like zombies in a zombie movie, or they're like orcs in a Lord of the Rings movie. They're just an undifferentiated brown mass.
They're just getting blown away, or just like being mad shady and like sort of
those fucking Feb 17 motherfuckers.
They're just like sort of staring like menacingly and just sort of like talking amongst one another like shadily or whatever. But among the Americans in the movie, it's like there are the five or six operators. There's the operators, and then there's everyone else. And
Cowards.
Everyone else is portrayed at best as like a totally ineffectual pussy. Like even Ambassador Chris Stevens, the guy who is like the real, martyr of the Benghazi attack, is portrayed as like
pussy.
a well-meaning but like
pussy.
Ultimately naive.
Pussy.
Yeah.
Pussy. Yeah, he has these high ideals, but like he gives this pep talk to all of the CIA employees, and one of the operators in the back falls asleep. And then Gale, the pant pleat, is like, what are you doing? That's disrespectful. And he's like, I've heard that shit before. It's like, fuck all that. We know what to do. There's the one shot in this film that is the most semiotically loaded and sort of stands in for everything. And it was in the trailer, which speaks to how important it is. It's when the operators are gearing up to go in and finally do what they need to do. The guy's got his I think it was a SAW, a squad automatic rifle. It might have been an M5. I don't know, but he's going to load it, and in order to load it, he like puts it down, and there's a chessboard, and he just puts this gun down on top of the chessboard violently and knocks the pieces everywhere as he loads it. And it was just like so clear. It's like these lanyard dick pussies can talk all they want about, organizing the new Libyan state, but when it comes down to it, what matters is this gun and the man fucking wielding it.
This is. I want to roll back to a scene towards the beginning of the movie because could be my favorite, part. One of my favorite parts in the movie.
Sort your shit out, Ahmed. Breadcrumb trail of every TCOT grievance. We're alone out here. I didn't see no protest about no videotape, no flyover, shot of grounded F-16.
Well, I don't know what this is.
What's going on here?
Never mind. Continue.
Okay. Yeah, the scene towards the beginning of the movie, after Jim gets in country and gets yelled at by their cuckold boss, he goes on this mission with this woman, and you're already warned, this woman should know better than to talk to men this way, because she's always ordering them around, being like, "Don't look at me, don't touch me, you filthy operator."
And it's also revealed that she was born in France.
Yeah, she's like they're still mad at John Kerry. They go to this business meeting in town, and they're supposed to make some deal with some guy who has some connection to somebody. It's never fucking explained. No intelligence thing ever makes sense in the movie. But they take the operators with them, and the two intelligence people don't want the operators to come. And later you see why, because they're just these big, burly fucks with huge beards walking around their armored car, just screaming Frosty 10-0 Tango Alpha at each other. And it seems like it tips off the rebels. They know, oh yeah, the guys with a giant new bulletproof SUV are screaming at each other. These are obviously American agents. It doesn't prove anything to you. You're like, oh yeah, no, these guys shouldn't have come at all. This entire mission is doomed.
Well, what's interesting to me, if we drill down into the actual Benghazi arcana, the actual conspiracy here about what really happened, what really went down there, this movie really doesn't address one of the key components that I always read about Benghazi, or they do, but they do it in a way that, the idea that the CIA, the secret CIA outpost in Benghazi, was essentially there to buy weapons on the black market and funnel it to the whatever moderate rebels in Syria at the time.
Well, they don't say that. That's the thing. They tiptoe around the actual scandal of Benghazi, which is that there's a very good chance that it was literally an arms funneling operation to get guns to Syria, but they never say that in the movie.
No,
they're buying these guns, and they kind of make vague arguments that, we're getting them off the streets or whatever.
It's explained in the movie that they're buying rocket launchers so that they won't be used on American troops.
Right, but it's maybe they were giving them to the Syrian rebels. Never in there.
I don't know if that's been confirmed in Hillary Clinton's emails or whatever, but at least to me, it's a credible.
I think it's credible, and it's certainly an actual scandal.
Yeah.
That's part of this, but it's totally ignored because that's too complicated.
And,
it doesn't fit into the narrative he's trying to make of these betrayed warriors.
And trying to put yourself in the mind of the person who, for them, 13 hours is a huge event because it's finally something has been made for them that speaks to them and something that's very important to them. And trying to understand it is always, it's just like entering a maze because, to me, there is a huge scandal all related to this, whether it's the Syrian thing, but it's really just the entire Libyan invasion, which was a disaster.
Yeah.
But that's never really part of...
that's taken for granted. It's some shit went down and America went in and fucking sorted it out. That's what we do. And then some queers fucked it up by being too gay and betrayed the operators who could have made it work. That's the story.
But even if you just like watch the movie with a tiny bit of background, you like see how doomed this entire worldview is, because they have one guy in their entire organization who speaks Arabic, and it's a Libyan, and they don't know who anyone is. But it's like they sell it as like, you know, this like as, oh, it just means the entire world is against us. Not that we just bungled into this country not knowing fucking anything.
Why are they so mad at us? All we did was bomb their country for 100 days and then unleash fucking absolute anarchy on it. Why are they mad? They're just savages.
They go into it and they say these like tough guy truisms like, I hate this country because I don't know if there are bad guys or good guys shooting at me. And it's like, yeah, because you went into a fucking place with no plan and fucked everything up, and you brought one guy who speaks the language, so your boss could sell guns to Al Qaeda.
Another line right up there with he gets off on bossing around alphas is a line that's spoken towards the end of the movie by Pablo Schreiber, who plays one of the operators. Pablo Schreiber of The Wire and Orange is the New Black, blah blah blah. To the one sort of Libyan character, their translator.
Yep. I was going to talk about this. It's amazing. He sticks with
them throughout the whole movie.
It's amazing.
And it's like the morning has broken, like the firefight is over, like it's all said and done. The gunplay is over. They're like still sort of like recovering or whatever, and their Libyan translator guy is just like, I'm going home. Like, I'm sorry, like all the CIA guys are leaving. They're getting on a cargo plane and getting the fuck out of there. And he's like just has like some rolling luggage, and he's like, I'm just going back home. And Pablo Schreiber's character looks at him as he's leaving and is just like, I'll tell you what, Ahmed, you gotta fix this shit. You gotta fix this country.
Sort your shit out, Ahmed, I believe is the line. It's like, how dare you? All we did was bomb the fuck out of your country and throw a bunch of guns on the street and unleash unholy hell and then not know what we're doing because 3 of us speak Arabic, and you're shooting at us. What the fuck, man? And get your shit together.
I was trying to think about this, like in terms of like, well, like what type of movie is like this? And what it really reminded me of was these sort of major disaster movies of the late aughts, like The Day After Tomorrow and 2012. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like again,
Roland Emmerich specialties.
Yeah. These movies are very liberal, but it's like most of the world gets annihilated, and you get to like see entire cities be wiped off the map. But like the real thrust of the movie is that we're supposed to care that some dumb middle class family gets reunited.
Yeah.
Like this movie is like the teacot version of that, because it's
and the funny thing is that the model of that was sort of established by Michael Bay in Armageddon.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
If we'll remember, it's like we're worried about America. We're worried about what's going to happen to quote unquote the world. But in the course of that movie, the cities of Shanghai and Paris are completely destroyed, killing hundreds of thousands of people, and they get like maybe a minute of screen time.
Yeah. What I mean is like this is the teacot version of those kind of dumb liberal disaster movies, is because like at the end of this movie, fewer Americans have died than like will probably die of car crashes by the time I finish this sentence. But it all takes back against really like the ongoing disaster of this entire the whole country's like post 9/11 foreign policy.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, the invasion of Iraq and everything that's happened before this, but it's like no, it's this one thing, you know.
And to get to the specifically sort of militarist or fascist undertones of the film, like 4 Americans died, as we all know, in Benghazi, but 2 of the deaths are literally not even shown on screen, and those are the deaths of the nerds. Those are the deaths of Vile Rat, the gamer dipshit tech support guy, and Sean Smith, and Ambassador Stevens. But the deaths of the 2 operators are the literal climax of the film. They get blown up by a mortar, and their deaths are they're given the just like slow motion and emotional and heart and loss and horror. Whereas it's like, what happened to Chris Stevens? Yeah, he died.
Not only are their deaths take place off screen, at the very, very end of the movie, after they have a little epilogue that like tells you, they show the pictures of all the real people on screen and like tell you, you know, what happened to them. The final shot of the movie is like zeroing in on the stars that they like etch into the marble at Langley for people who gave their lives in service to the company. and the film says dedicated to Roan and Grizz.
Yeah.
The two operators who died. The other two guys, fuck them.
those guys.
They don't exist. Who
Worthless.
cares? Yeah.
They're nerds. They're the bitch-ass civilian nerds who don't understand what it takes to be an operator. They don't have it to be an operator. The death of an operator is worth the death of, I don't know, like conservatively a million non-operators. A million non-American operators and at least 1,000 American non-operators.
We were talking earlier about Michael Bay's profile as an auteur, and just going back in time, I was remembering my favorite Michael Bay movie, The Rock.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And if you remember the plot of The Rock, the plot of The Rock is that like these operators are sick of being betrayed by the government, not having their families taken care of after Black Ops missions, so they take the prison hostage and they're going to launch biological weapons. If Michael Bay made The Rock today with the worldview of 13 Hours, the villains of The Rock would be the heroes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're already halfway there.
Yeah.
Like Ed Harris in The Rock is portrayed as basically a completely virtuous figure.
Yeah.
He's not responsible for any of the deaths that happen, and his motives are pure, and he dies a martyr.
He was just engaging in brinksmanship.
All it would take would be like a 20-degree twist to make him the literal hero of the film.
He has he realizes maybe it went too far, threatening a few million people with death, but it was just brinksmanship for him. It was a bluff.
Chris Hooks sort of talks about this in his article and about how the rise of sort of the cult of the operator since 9/11, and I think it is very instructive the way that we've gone from sort of worshiping the troops as a mass to deciding that that's just too egalitarian. Because the troops is like every dipshit in the army, including some fucking guy who just joined so that he could get college credit and, works in the mess hall at like Fort Camp Pendleton. That's not cool. That's not elite. And so like the American instinct towards worship of elites has now infected that, and so we went in the earliest days of post 9/11 from just worshiping the troops as a mass to now worshiping what Chris calls the 1% of the military, which is these elite special operators.
So are
Delta and shit.
Are these Navy SEALs or what are the?
Well, the funny thing is they're all mercenaries. They're technically mercenaries.
Yeah.
But they're ex-guys. They're like ex-SEALs and ex-Rangers and ex-Delta Force. But they're all technically mercenaries.
Sounds like a fucking Rambo movie. Like, when you guys are describing this movie, it reminds me of, the first... Well, I guess it's not as radical as the first Rambo, but it sounds like the last... I guess it sounds like the second one. The one where he goes and wins Vietnam for the United States. It sounds super patriotic. That's what it sounds like to me. And then, but is it like 0 Dark 30 levels of action? Or is it do you get a few shootout scenes? I guess, do you see the political process happen, or does it just take place over those 13 hours?
This basically the second half of the movie is those 13 hours.
Oh, shit. So is it boring at the beginning?
Yeah,
they get to it pretty quickly. Basically, the first 30 minutes exist to set up a couple of ideas. One, everyone who isn't an operator is a pussy and doesn't know what they're doing, and they're quote unquote all alone out here, which is part of it. And I've read so many just totally clueless liberal film reviewers who saw this movie and said, you know what? It's surprisingly unideological. It's not really making any political points. And they base that on the fact that there are no references to Obama or Hillary in the film. But the film is just riven all throughout with a breadcrumb trail of references to every grievance that TCOT and conservatives have held about Benghazi since it happened. And because these people aren't online, they don't realize it. They don't know that they're making these references.
And it doesn't have to be Hillary or Obama in the movie to make them bad. It has to be inefficient government.
Yeah.
Like,
civilians, essentially.
Forever. Yeah,
civilians. I mean, the real argument of this film, the real ideology of this film isn't vote Trump or vote Cruz. It's overthrow the decadent civilian government and have our virtuous operators rule us with an iron fist. That's the ideology.
There's a point in the movie where the David Constable, the station chief, finally gets sunned. Like, all the shit has gone down at the embassy. Like, that's gone to hell. And now, like, the CIA station is, like, very clear that it's going to come under attack. And, like, he's still trying to, like, assert authority. And one of the guys, played by James Badgedale, goes, "You're done giving orders. You're taking orders from me. You're in my world now." And from that moment on, the CIA station chief and all of the other sort of, like, you know, Oxford shirt wearing intelligence analysts, they kind of snap into action, and like they start to behave competently and efficiently as soon as they start taking orders from the sort of grizzled military men. And I think that's the kind of, it's like saying, they all before then they were laboring under the illusion that they weren't in mortal danger and being protected by these rough men. But as soon as that illusion is brutally washed away and their lives are in peril, then they snap into action. And then we, as a country, if only we could do the same, we would be great again.
So can I ask, is in this movie, are the people that are trying to break into the embassy the heels, or are the U.S. government the heels?
No, the U.S. government are absolutely the heels.
Okay.
Like I said, we get every TCOT grievance. So it starts before the attack happens, when we were talking about the scene where Jim and his buddy are in the car, and he says to him, "We're all alone out here." So that's the first Peacock grievance, the idea that they had been asked that the Benghazi consulate had asked for more support and hadn't gotten it from the State Department. So that's that's one. Two, later on, they're in the thick of it, and this is them in the middle of the shootout, which seems unrealistic to me. It seems like this was put in just so that you could once again like hit those TCOT talking points. They're sitting on top of the roof, and they're like, I called my wife, and she said that this is on the news. They're saying that it happened because of some videotape and a protest. And one of them goes, "I didn't see no protest." So, boom, TCOT grievance number 2, which is the State Department and Susan Rice and all that lied about the idea that the attack was spurred by the innocence of Muslims tape. And then the best of all is, because there's no actual evidence that there was any kind of support force close enough that could have gotten there before these guys died, the argument now boils down to, you could have sent an F-16 flyover to scare them away, and you didn't do that. And they throw that in there because one of the guys, he gets his arm blown off, and this French chick who hated the operators at first but now worships them because she's seen how awesome they are, is like, "What can we do?" And he goes, "You need to call and get an F-16 flyover to scare the hell out of these sons of bitches and show them about America's power." And then they show her calling them up and going, "You've got to get the F-16s into the air to scare them." And then there's a shot. There's this pointed shot of a tarmac and a bunch of F-16s sitting on it and a bunch of guys standing next to it going nowhere.
Yeah, Michael Bay is a good director. I mean, there's also some shots of Muslims kneeling during the call to prayer, sort of framed by AK-47s behind them. That was another good little shot.
Yeah, that was good.
The only thing that was missing, like as far as like the conservative outrage picture, would be if the Feb 15 militia couldn't make it because they were teaching their kids Common Core.
I'm sorry, I would have sent the Marines in to save everyone, but we were having a cultural awareness day at my kid's school, and I had to bring a Baba Ganoush.
God damn it, we were going to send the 87th Sniper Battalion. They were requested back to Washington, D.C. to see Michelle Obama talk about arugula.
There was a hip-hop barbecue that I had to attend, and I didn't have time to order in the Marines.
to give, I mean, again, to give the film some credit and to give, some credit to these grievances, I think the film does do a good job of, as Felix pointed out earlier, what a ridiculous disaster in waiting this whole situation was from the beginning. Largely, I mean, almost entirely because of bureaucratic and government incompetence. But I just can't take that argument seriously from people who, like, literally promoted and planned the Iraq War. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we were planning. Yeah, the guys who said we need a Marshall Plan for Iraq after we invade, and then all they did was buy a copy of the actual Marshall Plan and put it on a bookshelf. These people really are aware of the dangers of
army.
Yeah. we fired the entire Iraqi army and gave them Chipotle coupons, and then they got mad at us. You can't blame us for that.
Yeah. So in the end. So this movie ends on a down note, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Like is like, so when they go home, they can be like, I think this is what people say when these movies come out. I think every American should have to see this movie in order to vote.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and this is why I kind of suspect it didn't do that well. Not only do a lot of people hear Benghazi and tune out because they see it as this political totem, but the film itself is structured around failure. Because they hear about the attack on the embassy. They want to go. Gale, the pant pleat, tells them they can't. Stevens and Gamer Violet die of smoke inhalation. Then they spend like 20 minutes just shooting the fuck out of people from the roof of the CIA compound, which is pretty bloody and cool, but doesn't really get them anywhere. And then the two blessed, perfect, glorious operators get killed by a mortar, and then they just leave. It's all about. It's like it's essentially, in sort of fascist cosmology, it's the stab in the back. It's the unjust loss in World War I. It's the thing that must be redeemed by those with martial virtue.
Well, the thing I said to Felix as soon as we got out of the theater was that it was like someone gave Tim Heidecker and Greg Turkington like $50 million to make a season of Decker.
Our values are under attack.
There are lines in the movie that sound like they are straight out of one of those episodes. Like, we could take out the rats with one of our Hellfire missiles, but the politicians are too worried about winning a re-election.
Oh my God! I mean,
we can't. They don't know anything about fighting the Taliban and our new enemy, ISIS.
Station Chief Gale, you have failed on every front to use the Taliban to fight terrorists at all costs. You should probably step down and kill yourself.
I wish this would have been a bigger movie, though. I kind of wish everybody went and saw it 3 times like Star Wars. So that
if that was the case, then we would have a military government right now. Like this Scalia thing specifically would have definitely triggered just a mass rising, and some mid-level Marine general named General Arthur McGutcheon shows up on TV one night and says, for the good of America and the future of our country, I have claimed control of government. And 45% of America would be like, thank God. Or at the very least, oh, goodness, I don't have to watch any more presidential debates.
No more Obama. I mean, they want to arrest Hillary Clinton too right now. So for Benghazi,
knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Yeah. That would be interesting. But man, that stinks, that they couldn't get their military movie that makes them feel good in the end. They got so what they got was, it doesn't make me feel good when this movie ends, but it does.
You feel betrayed. You feel
superior. Kind of superior to people though too. Like, go see that movie. I've been telling you about this shit forever. Like, that's what it's like out there for these operators.
Yeah, of course, yeah, and then all the guys seeing it, see themselves as the operators, where in fact they're wearing diabetic socks, and they can't win an argument with a Golden Corral cashier about whether or not they can take the yeast rolls home with them. Or like the guy in Seattle, they get drunk and concealed carry into the theater to see the Benghazi movie and then drop their gun and kill someone. Did you guys hear about that?
No, to be fair, I don't think he killed anyone.
No, he killed her. She's dead.
Oh, really? Oh.
She died.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
dear.
such thing as collateral damage in a war.
You know, she died. But like, if I didn't have the right to bring my gun into that showing of Benghazi, God knows how many other people would have died.
That's right.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Man, those guys will not leave their gun in their car. They just refuse to leave the fucking gun in the car.
Well, yeah, because you can't stop a hip hop ISIS guy from killing people if the gun's in your car.
That's true. That is true. I've heard that story before.
I'd
So,
rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
You know how many guns I got? I got more guns than I need, but fewer than I want.
That's right.
Yeah. So the other part of the show that I wanted to do, and this is that Felix went to New Hampshire recently
This
for
is
the
a
New
good segue.
Hampshire
We can talk
primaries.
about the upcoming election before it's canceled by Douglas MacArthur's grandson.
Yeah, before the putrid corpse of liberty is buried
Well, there's
by
two,
our glorious and perfect military operators.
well, I mean, there are two outcomes. I feel like we could avoid. Like the most logical outcome is Hillary Clinton, as Ron Fournier has been claiming for a year, will be arrested probably at the convention. The Democratic Party will select Wesley Clark, and he can
The man on horseback.
Yeah, he can run for election versus the guy who is taking command of the government. Fucking General Todd McGunn.
No, but Felix, you spent last week in New Hampshire covering the primary, right?
I did. I spent Saturday from Wednesday there with Virgil Texas from Twitter and Nick Mullen, two of the other most esteemed political reporters in the country.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it was. I spent a lot of time with Kasich.
Good, because you know what, Kasich is my guy. Like, I know, I don't want him to. Here's the thing, I want him to run for as long as he can, but I'm gunning for a Trump versus Sanders debate.
Oh God, yes. Hiding those
Outsiders.
contradictions, baby.
I
Let's
think
shoot
it may
outsiders.
happen. I think we may get our wish. I wouldn't
You
have
know
said
what?
that a month ago,
If he
but
wins South Carolina, if Trump wins South Carolina,
there's no stopping
I
it.
honestly don't see him losing. I mean, and I've resisted that until the end because it really goes against so many commonplaces of political science. But if he gets another double-digit win in South Carolina, I just don't see anyone beating him.
Ted Cruz, I mean, South Carolina is probably the dirtiest fucking primary there is, and it's sort of made for a piece of shit like Ted Cruz. Like, Ted Cruz is like already calling, like there are already Ted Cruz robocalls that are like, if you heard that Donald Trump was gender non-binary, but I don't think he's gonna get it done. I just don't.
It's
That
too big of a.
is
I think
smart.
it's just too big of a gap at this point.
Yeah.
Like he's operating
I
off a
don't think he can
20
close
point.
it.
He's operating off of a 20-point deficit. I don't think any amount of public appearances where he has stigmata, and speaks in tongues are going to be enough to derail the Trump train.
Oh, so
Cruz-
I saw Ted Cruz in person. When I was in-
Oh yeah.
You surprised me by saying that he actually isn't as unnerving looking in person as he is on television.
Well, I mean, he is, like, parts of him are. Like, his face is still, like, just fucking awful. Like, he has those little doll eyes and just...
That nose, the drippy nose, it looks like it's made of wax.
Yeah, but I feel
Oh,
like
God.
he's tucked in the neck, or he, like, I don't know, maybe like, vacuumed it in that day. Some days you have a good day. Some days you just, like, look at yourself and you're like, I'm looking good today, and maybe that was the day. But, I was also harassing him, so...
You are.
You do a weird look.
Huh?
Yeah.
Did you meet anybody up there who was pining for the military to make all this go away?
No, the New Hampshire Republican is a different type of person. They're like, this is like my theory on why, like every like dipshit lanyard dick fucking moron that we follow on Carl Diggler's account, the worst feed on Twitter, the absolute worst, was like, no, Marco ruined his chances of the debate. But it's like, yeah, it fucked him up in New Hampshire. But he would have never done well there because Marco's entire campaign is just, it's like A, his bullshit storyline, and B, it's just warmed over project for a new American Century bullshit. Just, the same shit we've been hearing for 25 years now spoken out of his mouth. And, like, they don't really respond to that up there. It's not really their thing.
No, they want a guy who gets down in the dirt, a guy who tells them about their, trials and all of the hitchhiking and all the times they got fired being a dishwasher at a restaurant and all that.
Kasich is their man.
That's Kasich. That's why Kasich did so well. Kasich just goes up there with his weathered face. He's like, I don't really care.
I've seen things.
I don't really go to Concord. They have it out for me there. And all the people are like, they have it out for me too.
I actually one of the things that got me was watching when you went to one of Kasich's things and you were showing the food there, and I was like, this motherfucker that was the most Ohio terrible.
Those tendies, those chicken tendies.
Yeah. First of all, Kasich's food was like Kasich went to Costco and like robbed them.
That's how we do it here. That's how we have potlucks here.
It was an Ohio potluck. It was a bizarre assortment. Like, you would go to this table and you would get broccoli and smother it with ranch. Then you'd get a few pieces of pineapple and crackers and cheese, and then some tendies.
And then one table is just like a ton of like Entenmann's coffee cake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. So did you get to talk to John? Who? I guess like in of the people that I know in this city. And in Ohio, none of them like John Kasich.
Right.
Nobody fucking likes him here. So, did you rub up against people who were like, I really like this John Kasich really inspires me?
Oh, here's the thing. So this is the contrast between Kasich's people and Rubio's people. Rubio's people are just, like, as fucking shitty as you'd imagine. They all have the same haircut. Like, they all dress the same. They're all, like, just chewing ice. They're so sexually frustrated. And they're just, like, barely talk, like, can barely get words out of their clenched jaw. Just angry. They're angry at you because they've never heard of cafe. Felix, who are you? Who are you? Okay, get in there. The Kasich people are all just these, like, telegenic Mormon-looking kids and, like, very nice moms. Like, it was all probably 20-year-old dudes in dry fit shirts, like, hey, yeah, what's up? I work for the campaign. You're press. Go on in there. Or, like, moms who would be like, oh, you're with Cafe? I love coffee. Like, lame, nice people. There was a guy who looked like he, like, moonlights as a mannequin at Brooks Brothers who came into the press room at the Kasich victory thing and was like, Kasich rocks! Like,
the Kasich victory thing where he got 19% of the vote.
Exactly, where he lost 2-1 to Trump. More than 2-1 to Trump. You're like, rocks,
I wanted to ask you one of the things that you mentioned in your dispatches about the Kasich child soldier.
Yes, there's a Kasich kid. Okay. There was a 15-year-old kid who was in, like, a skin-tight Under Armour getup that was branded as a Kasich.
It was a Kasich-branded Under Armour shirt?
Hell yeah. That's very, like, oh my God. Like,
it was, yeah, he had, like, a boy, and it was at one of the town halls, and he was like, Governor Kasich, I was the head of your Michigan committee. And he, like, question, and Kasich, like, he tried to answer with a joke. I feel like Kasich's aides, they told him to memorize certain stories and anecdotes of people he met up there and, like, things he's supposed to say, but he fucks them up because he wants to tell jokes. But his jokes are always, like, weird and disconcerting because when he answers the kid's question about, like, fucking whatever, he goes, yeah, I'll tell you what, I'd like to kidnap the 2 football coaches in Michigan and get them in the car, and then I could win the state. And you're like, that's not a complete joke. You just a crime that you want to do.
Yeah, that is kind of a plan. It sounds like you have shit.
Yeah, but the Kasich kid was like, Nick just kept going on this thing that, like, he's this boy that's passed around campaigns. My dad's the wrestling coach. And he wants me to move.
The Republicans own a kid.
Yeah.
Like they had two top Republicans make a kid, and they were like, "Well, he's the Kasich kid today. Tomorrow he's going to be the I don't know." And like I just blanked on Republicans for some reason.
Boy for sale. Boy for sale. Is this legal?
Rubio rolls up. It's like, how much for that kid?
I'm fascinated.
Can you roll his R's? Can he realistically pretend to speak Spanish?
I don't think that matters to Kasich. I don't think Kasich's ever spoken.
No, except for the rope. If Rubio bought him.
Now, Felix, did you also say you went to a Marco Rubio pancake breakfast in which his campaign did not furnish with pancakes?
Moron. Yeah, they just Rubio couldn't stop fucking up. My theory is that like Chris.
He's a bungler.
Yeah, he is a bungler. Chris Christie like scared the shit out of him. Like in a kamikaze blimp attack. Like if Muhammad Ali.
Oh, the humanity.
And I think it just ruined Rubio because he was supposed to have a fucking pancake breakfast. It ended up being muffins. Chris Christie, may rest in peace, would have never made that mistake.
That man knows his fucking pastries.
That's right.
Breakfast foods.
And then that day we were supposed to go to a Rubio thing. And it was like just the most unappealing set of words that have ever been offered to me. Watch the Super Bowl with Marco.
Oh my God!
Imagine this fucking quarter zip sweater, like watching the game with his hands on his lap, and he waits for an aide to whisper in his ear, and then he takes exactly one sip of Coors Light
of Michelob Ultra.
But
wow, this I usually watch it for the commercials, but this game is pretty exciting.
Oh, Rubio would try to like say something about it, like he.
Now, Rubio's wife is a former Miami Dolphins cheerleader.
That's right. Yeah, no, one of Rubio's harem. Rubio can't stop fucking. But he fucked up, and it wasn't like when we got there. It was a weird country club. There was a sign on the door that was like, Marco Rubio's Super Bowl event is in in some other New Hampshire town that was 20 minutes away. So we drive to the address they give us, and it's this YMCA. We get there, and there's press people there, and they're like, no, he's actually at the steel worker plant or some bullshit. And we were just furious at this point because Rubio's schedule, he fucked up so bad and didn't give anyone the right directions to where he was. We got there, the parking was filled up, and these people in the lot next to us were like, next to the Marco thing, were like, oh, if you give us $10, we can park here. But we were just like, we're not going to part with any more money or time in this world because of Marco fucking Rubio.
But this is great shoe leather reporting because, I mean, he finished in 5th place or like something like that.
Yeah, killed. He got fucking killed.
Like, again, like, it's funny to me that you do this as a joke, but there are, like, idiots who get on, This Week with George Snuffleupagus every week who are like, I just hear things, I don't know, don't be surprised if Rubio has a strong showing in New Hampshire. Like, they just say these things because they want to will it into reality.
Oh, no, yeah, no, they're, like, party operatives who just, like, want people to repeat them, but that shit doesn't work, and, like, we take a very unscientific approach where we, like, try to go to campaign events, and we usually don't make it because we're incompetents, but when we do, we look at things like attendees and look at how telegenic their workers may be, and we make decisions based on that. So far, we've predicted Iowa and New Hampshire with like 95% accuracy.
Because I honestly, I think that is the way to do it.
It is. It's a way better bellwether than anything else.
Like,
these guys who are hyping Rubio, it's like because yes, you've got an RNC that is very invested in having somebody who they can spin as moderate get the nomination, so they're pumping up Rubio, and the mainstream media has an unspoken but very deep desire to have that same thing, so that they can continue operating off of this fake, even-handed position where they don't have to acknowledge that one of the nominees is a frothing psychopath. So they want to be able to also say, at the end of the day, we all move towards something that we can understand. We might disagree, but like Rubio is a robot But the only times, if you watch the debates, that he actually seems to give a shit is when he's talking about bombing the fuck out of Iran.
Right.
It's like his eyes get glassy, and he starts talking about a new American century and like paving the America's path in the blood of Middle Easterners, and it's like, holy shit!
And
there's nothing moderate about this. This is terrifying.
They're all psychos at that. I mean, even Kasich who barely talks about foreign policy. He will say things like, "Well, the Shia are our mortal enemies." And
yeah, they hate the Shia. And that's so amazing to me that they've made that pick. They're like, yeah, we're going all in on the Sunni awakening, which is responsible for 99.9% of American deaths to terrorism in history.
Exactly. But like Rubio is the biggest psycho. Like, he sounds like the biggest fucking lunatic with all of it. Like, Ted Cruz is a crazy person with it too, but what he says is like very Bircher. Like, we're not trying hard enough to win. We need carpet bombs. We need to make the sand glow in the dark. Just like stupid, crazy person shit. That's
he's sort of Bircherite in the way that the Birchers were against the Vietnam War, not because they thought it was like.
Yeah, we won't go far enough. Yeah.
They just thought it was like we should be fighting a war with Russia and China. That's why we might be out of Vietnam.
But Rubio is like, he's the same like Project for a New American Century, neocon bullshit guy that they've like put a new face on. Unfortunately for them, Rubio is a fucking moron. He's dumb as fuck when you hear him talk. When he has to do any thinking, you can see him think. You saw it at the debate like a few nights ago when Trump like blamed Bush for 9/11, and it was hilarious, and Rubio went, I thank God every single day George Bush was president. It's like, do you? You
really do that?
God for that every day.
What a great line. Think of that, though. He's like, oh, well, I thank God he was president during the worst national security disaster in American history. Well, who else could have been president?
He was responsible in every way for the response to it, but not that it happened. It's this quantum state that he's in. It's pretty impressive.
But you can see how he thinks. Like, he's. It's like when you learn a foreign language and you learn like the things that you need to start a sentence with. He's like, okay, I need to start the sentence with "I thank God." Marco Rubio doesn't fucking pray every day. He doesn't pray. Like, he switched religions how many times? Like, he used to be a fucking Mormon.
He was, yes, and he was an evangelical for a while.
He used to be a Mormon.
Yeah.
Yes, he was a Mormon and he was an evangelical too. Yeah.
What is he now?
Has he ever
Catholic.
been a Unitarian? Is he a Unitarian?
He was a Zoroastrian for a bit. He was into that. You know, he had some fun with that. He dabbled in Sikhism.
Yeah, Rubio is a Sufi.
Hopefully he becomes a Pastafarian when he's president.
Oh, that would be epic.
That would be, Le Win.
He becomes he's a baconist. Epic baconist.
He strikes me as fucking stupid enough that if like there is a big scandal, like if one of the 50 rumors about him plopping out an illegitimate kid are true, like he's King Robert.
I've heard those.
And he just falls from grace, and we don't hear from him for 5 years. He'll come back and be like, "Yeah, I realize religion is bullshit. I chive now."
He's gonna fucking take over for Gary Johnson. The libertarian.
Bob Barr. I'm so sick of like just every piece of shit being a piece of shit for 20 years and being like, well, I shook a gay person's hand and here's what I think now, and then they get to have a documentary made about them. Like, no, fuck you, you're still a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, especially since their great like revelation is, I still think that poor people should die screaming in gutters for the crime of being born poor, but gay people getting married is okay.
Yeah, I'm starting to digress on this. Like, Bob Barr, I fucking hate Bob Barr so much, but he came back in 2008 with, like, these cool guy glasses, and he's like, I don't think gay people deserve AIDS anymore. It's like, good for you. You could have fucking died in the 90s, you piece of shit.
I guarantee you Bob Barr vapes at this point.
Oh, God.
Did you see that Grover Norquist has been saying that vaping is going to decide this election?
Yep. And,
He says
Duncan Hunter vaped on the House floor.
Yeah, he
the
says
other
Republican
day.
candidates need to mobilize the 10 million Americans who vape and just start hitting home that Hillary Clinton wants to overregulate the vaping community.
Oh shit!
Yeah, see,
I would love that because Hillary, they're her team of foot fetishists and idiots would go, we have to respond to this, and they would make a video where she vapes.
well, that just shows how dumb Norquist is because the vape, if there was a vape vote to be had, it was to be had by Rand Paul.
Exactly.
And that bitch is out of the race. So clearly the vapists do not have the electoral weight that they're claiming.
No.
Because Rand Paul was just tailor-made for the vape crowd, and they didn't give him anything.
Can we talk about Hillary Clinton for a second? Because Felix brought up her, battalion of sycophants and morons who have been close to her for now 20 years, but are remarkably the worst political operatives maybe ever. She may lose this nomination again,
which would be hilarious.
Which would be hysterical, and it's just who are these people who have, they make $50,000 a day advising her on what to do, and it's just her lead is shrinking in South Carolina, and she may lose Nevada too.
Well, it's because because the job of political operative is stunningly unconnected to results. There used to be a joke about how Bob Shrum, remember Bob Shrum? Yeah. How he was in charge of 5 straight losing presidential campaigns, and he just kept getting hired. I mean, because you can't. It's just one. It's very similar in a lot of ways. There's a ton of similarities between the economics and sort of the mindset of the people who are hired to be consultants and operators within political parties, and people in sports, like general managers and stuff. It's just this small club of people, and once you're in the club, you just get recycled, regardless of your results. The results don't matter. It's how many Donna Brazil? It's how many times did frickin' Chan Gailey get a job in the NFL without being just a complete failure his whole career? It's yeah, but we know him. We don't want some random person from out of nowhere. And it's the same thing. They want someone they feel comfortable with way more than they want anybody who can point to actual results.
I mean, you see with Peter Dow. If you go to Peter Dow's website, first Peter Dow, my favorite fucking Hillary person in the world for many.
He's amazing.
But Peter Dow, you see when you go to his website, after you see the thing that says war survivor. I was going to say so it's Joseph Mengele, but
he was a refugee technically.
Yeah, that's right. Like Steve Jobs, but
Steve Jobs, Joseph Mengele. These are the people we're trying to keep out of America.
Worse, in my opinion.
after he talks about that, he says he goes, I've worked for John Kerry, Hillary Clinton in 2008. Just listing all these things he was a part of that he failed on.
Well, just another one is Liz Mayer. You guys know Liz Mayer?
Yeah.
Today I looked at her Twitter bio, and it says, this is what it says in her Twitter bio: former online comm strategist to Senator Paul, Governors Walker Perry, and Carly Fiorina. A fucking parade of losers.
Hey,
If you brought that resume into fucking Burger King, they wouldn't hire you. And I guarantee you she's going to have gigs for the rest of her life.
Easily.
Oh my God! Did you see any Carly Fiorina stuff there, Felix?
Carly!
To go to her.
Miss Carly Fiorina!
Fuck yeah, we went to Carly Fiorina. She was at a restaurant. By the way, they have the biggest restaurants in the world in New Hampshire, and I don't know why. It was a
small state
restaurant that was fucking...
Small state, big restaurants.
Well, it's they have the nation's largest state House of Representatives. They have 500 people in the state House of Representatives, so they keep that same tradition going with their restaurants.
Yeah, it's the stupid lib joke where they're a guy with a big truck has a small cock. But so we went there. It was a Carly event, and So the first guy who Carly, by the way, had a lot of tendies, a lot of mozzarella sticks, really good setup.
Moz sticks is pretty sweet.
Yeah, mozzarella sticks are the fucking best. But we get
I
there.
don't picture that though. That's one of the things that's kind of disgusting, right? Is that like Carly Fiorina probably didn't have mozzarella sticks and chicken tendies.
Oh, she's never eaten those in her life.
No, she's never eaten that. She'd vomit.
Get that away from me. Get that away. I don't want to smell it.
Did you guys see that story that claimed that Heidi Cruz, Ted Cruz's wife, was so disgusted by the dirty citizens of Iowa that she had to take a shower after every public appearance?
I saw that story too. Look it up; it's amazing. There's all these like screen caps of her shaking hands with people.
She's shaking hands with these.
You can see the look on her face.
These corn-fed monsters,
every
and
time.
she's just internally repelled. You can tell her like shoulders are kind of scrunched up, and you can see that she's just viscerally grossed out by them.
Fucking wonderful.
By the way, we were talking about Grover Norquist being the tribune of vapors. 17 minutes ago, he tweeted, "The lifestyle brown shirts who hate vaping and tweet their anger at the idea of 10 million vapors voting in self-defense make my point."
Yeah,
who hates vaping, though?
You proved my point, guys.
You proved her point. He also, in that tweet, he capitalized vaping. I don't know if that was autocorrect.
Listen to us.
Who hates vaping, though?
I
mean, people make fun of vaping because it's kind of silly.
It's kind of silly, but
to turn it into like the thing is like it's like anything in this atomized, commodified hellscape we live in, where there's no identity pegs to to feel any kind of sense of identity towards other than what you're buying. It turns into a fetish, and yeah, that's silly. But beyond that, it's not any dumber than anything else. It's not any dumber than being a Whovian or whatever the fuck.
No, absolutely not.
I will vote for any candidate who says, I want to be your president in Gallifreyan.
I just want somebody who will admit when they're running for president that News Radio was the best sitcom of the 90s.
Oh, yes.
Fucking best, and it brought us Joe.
It did bring us the God, Joe Rogan.
God King.
Fucking Rogan 2016. Fuck this shit.
That's right.
I'd go for that, though.
Just put some DMT in the water supply.
I mean, listen to this, guys. The next election, after Trump's success, people are just going to fucking be like, I'm going to give it a shot. Like every crazy motherfucker with $1 billion is going to be like, I'm going to try it. I'm just going to see if I can do it. And if I can't,
they're going to try it, but they're going to realize very quickly that they don't have the same kind of game that Trump does.
No, he is something, man. Like, he runs his own campaign, right?
Basically. He has almost no staff, and I'm 100% convinced that that's the reason that he's so hated by guys like Luntz. It's not has anything to do with ideology. It has to do with the fact that the RNC is this massive grift, like we were talking about. These fucking failtards who shit the bed all the time, but keep getting rehired to be consultants or pollsters or like ad buyers. And Trump basically he's hired nobody. Like there was a hilarious story that I heard about him going to Iowa, and he'd heard that some other campaign had been doing internal polls, and he said, "Why are they doing that? Why are they paying for that? The networks do polls for free." Like the very idea of doing basic campaign infrastructure was like, that's a waste of money. So he doesn't have these guys, and
right, though.
Yeah, well, he's absolutely right. But so these guys, they exist to be like barnacles on the side of these campaigns. And the day that you have a guy who has the kind of just frankly magnetism and ability to pop on TV to not need that, to be able to do a national campaign just by being on TV and getting the kind of free publicity that Trump does, they're all out of a job. And so all of them are shitting themselves at the prospect of that future.
I'm not afraid to admit that after this most recent debate where Trump said on stage at a Republican debate that George W. Bush lied us into Iraq and it was a disaster, and like he's still winning. I mean, like I'm rooting for Trump to get the Republican nomination as much as I'm rooting for Bernie Sanders to get the Democratic one at this
Absolutely.
point.
I like how fucking stupid the political writers are, because literally the RNC's trick of like having the only Marco fans in the world show up to the debate.
Yeah, yeah.
And that they're like, well, Trump lost.
These idiots booed him the whole time, so clearly everyone hates him. It's like I was finding myself agreeing with when Trump was going, these guys, these special interests in the audience, and the way that they would just like, it was like a push button. It was like Rubio or Bush talked, and they would applaud, and anybody else said anything, they would boo. It's like, these guys do sound like they were brought in. This does sound like a rigged audience.
Yeah.
I feel
And
like
that's all they have to hear, too. That's all the fucking people that are for him have to hear is like, they fucking rigged the audience against the guy. They definitely don't want him. That means we want him. You know, they're...
Oh, sorry.
I guess the harder they push, the more they're just going to gravitate to Trump. I don't think there's any way he can lose now. I mean...
If he wins Iowa, if he wins South Carolina, yeah, I think it's pretty much over.
I feel like my favorite thing, just going back to the booze for a second, is the RNC or Right to Rise or whoever is so fucking stupid that this is how they try to sabotage like the one guy on stage who isn't upset by booing. Like, he's an entertainer. He knows how to work through it. It's not like Jeb, who just like curls his stupid fucking rich kid lips and is like, well, you don't know how bad you look right now.
Yeah.
Seriously, if the crowd booed Rubio the way they boo Trump, he would kill himself on stage, our Bud Dwyer style.
Take his tie and tie it on the podium and fucking himself.
He would swallow the microphone and choke to death.
Trump has actually done professional wrestling. Like, he's been involved with that. He knows what it takes to get people to pay attention. He
knows that the only thing that matters is heat. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be good or bad. It's just you need to be over, and over doesn't have any kind of normative value placed to it. Is the crowd responding? That's the only question.
This thing has amazed me at how bad politicians are responding to booing. Like, Bernie is actually okay at it. I was amazed, like, during the first Democratic debate, how, like, Lincoln Chafee, I felt bad the entire time when people booed him, and he was like, oh, come on.
Let's just, come on, everybody. This is, come on, man. Please just don't say that.
But Rubio would storm out, like, crying if people fucking booed him. Like, and Jeb, like, we've seen what happened when people boo Jeb. He just shuts down. And Kasich, I don't know what Kasich did. Someone showed me a video that Kasich just wanders around or talking to him, so he'd probably just leave.
It does suck to bomb, though. I mean, when you're getting booed as a politician, you're doing the exact opposite thing. Like, these guys would much prefer indifference. You know, a guy like Kasich would pay for indifference. Like, he would pay.
He is paying for indifference. That's what he's getting.
Because he's going with this fantasy of, he's basically trying to resurrect that Obama idea of, you know what, if we just bring everybody together, everything will be okay. And so, yeah, he doesn't want the crowd to respond. He just wants everybody to sort of like solemnly nod along. It's like, yeah, it's true. We all need to be brought back together by someone who, you know, has ridden the rails for a few years and knows how it goes.
Yeah, he's been running his campaign based on like which chalk drawings on like mailboxes and water towers he discerns mean good victuals or bad dogs.
I've seen your state. I know which houses a good Christian woman lives in. A man with a secret. John Kasich is the drifter for Mad Men, who's Don Draper's dad, Stiff.
Yep.
Played by Father Rintintola.
Paul Schultz, yeah.
Great actor.
Absolutely.
God, he is. When he promised to get Pink Floyd back together, I was like, this fucking guy is like, he's clean as a whistle. Like that's the other thing too is people he's going for the values voters that have already decided like on Trump or Ted Cruz. By the way,
Yeah, but he's not nearly religious enough. He's not nearly openly religious enough.
What he wants is he wants the religious people who get upset when they see fighting, because right now Trump's whole thing and Cruz's to a lesser extent is like the people who are like who want Armageddon to happen, or at the very least like Kurt Schlichter types who when Scalia died are like, ooh, this is the opening salvo of second Civil War. Let me load a few more magazines. But like that is a big chunk of the Republican electorate. But then there are sort of mild suburban dads who just want to watch History Channel and have a president that they can believe in because they're white. And that's who Kasich is pitching towards. You know, and I think it's a nice chunk, but it's definitely not enough.
It's so not enough.
Because they're pissed, man.
A strong vice presidential. Like I think if Trump
up
with him as a vice president, that'd be a tough ticket for anyone to beat.
And that very well could happen because they basically have not fought at all.
They haven't fought at all, and I also hear that the sort of donor class of the Republican Party also loathes John Kasich simply because he accepted a Medicare expansion in Ohio.
But John Kasich did run those ads against Trump, like with that, you know, first they came for me, and it's,
oh, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah,
that'd be a deal breaker. And Kasich has also said that he'd be a terrible vice president.
That was so funny. I can't have people telling me what to do. That's why I got fired for 15 straight jobs as a short order cook, because I wouldn't tell those motherfuckers having me tell me what to do.
Listen, look, I'm not the type of guy who tells anyone what to do, and I don't like to be told what to do myself. You know, people tell me what to do, and the next thing they're trying to take something from you.
God damn. I want to hang out with him. He is much more like, his part of his grift is that he seems boring. You know what I mean? Like, but then when you start,
he's a freak. This guy called up Blockbuster Video and screamed at them for having Fargo on the shelves. He's a freak.
But strangely, he seems more like a human being and not a reptile, like than any of the other Republicans.
Because his rage, while insane, comes from a human place. Like, he watches a movie with violence, and he is repulsed by it, and has this native desire to... No one else should see this. That's something that, as a human, you might not agree with it, but you can understand it.
Whereas,
but, like Cruz and Rubio,
Ted Cruz is insanity.
They're dreaming alien dreams.
Like, Ted Cruz's insanity is that he watches... the classic canon of The Simpsons and loves it and thinks it confirms what he already believes in. That's his special
I'm still convinced that Ted Cruz loves The Simpsons, but doesn't think that it got good until like season 13.
Ted Cruz's favorite episode of The Simpsons is like when Tony Hawk comes on and shit. He's like, that's just wonderful. Who would have ever thought that Tony Hawk would show up? And
I mean, he's a professional skateboardist. It's ridiculous.
Oh, man. Well, thank you guys all for doing this show. And for taking one for me by watching the movie.
Our pleasure.
Now I don't
It was my pleasure. I smuggled in a flask, and I had a great time.
Yeah.
So, everyone go see 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi.
Yeah, please.
They don't want you here.
And does that... So, what... you can find...
And follow John Nolte and Sonny Bunch and read their takes on movies.
Yeah, read the John Nolte movie tweets that aren't jacking off to cleavage, which is a good 50% of them. He is one thirsty motherfucker.
Sorry, I just need to say one thing more about my friend Nolte. Follow him because he'll go into rages about the murderers who need to go to hell, and then he'll just have something that says, "The wife won't let me watch the new season of Falling Skies tonight. Oh well." I just like these little glimpses into this utter banality.
That's like that fucking football team, the Chargers. The one that says, like, I'm waiting for my wife to get home so I can go get... Have you seen that tweet from, like, 2009 when some idiot owned the Chargers Twitter instead of the chargers, and they just never delete it. And it's like it's a guy just saying like I hope my wife something about my wife takes me to Chick-fil-A or somebody's gonna bring it up, and now I just fucked that up. But thank you guys all for doing the show. You can find any of these guys at Cushbomb, Cushbomb on Twitter. That's Matt. Will Menaker, Willmenaker, and By Your Logic. He used to be Swarthy Villain, but they took that away from him.
Fucking bastards.
Yeah, that's the meanest shit, man.
Those goddamn
martyrs.
He is one of the February 17th martyrs.
Yeah.
He is.
Well,
so thanks for. Oh, sorry.
I'd say the missing 12,000 followers that I am owed are the real martyrs.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So go there, and you got links to all your cafe articles and Carl Diggler stuff. There,
I do, and there is a Marshall Harford coming out tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
Don't think we forgot about him.
Oh, God, I'm glad. It's been a while.
I love him. I have a special. He is me. Like when I first said, like, "Hey, buddy, I'm an anarchist," and then it was like, "Fuck, I'm gonna take on the whole fucking thing now." I see little parts of me in there, like that I've been able to pull back on as I've softened up a little bit. So, thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see. You're gonna get 3 shows this week.
Well, if it is, as I say, if it's a cover-up, if it's an intentional deception, how foolish can you be to think that this is not going to come out at some point?
We all know just what you knew before, during, and after. The head of the CIA, he told us so. The story had changed, got rearranged, but nobody knows by whom.
Question is,
Who's in command of the situation room? Is it a cover-up? No one's perfect, we all make mistakes. But if it's a cover-up, that's something we just can't forgive. Oh no, either it's a cover-up or someone's been asleep at the wheel. To err is human, but it's hard to forgive. A cover-up. You and girl, then you went the UN, kept the story going, though you knew exactly what went down. A video induced spontaneous mob, it was not. How could you not know you'd be on the spot?
Mr. President,
It's feeling like a cover-up. No one's perfect, we all make mistakes. But if it's a cover-up, that's something we just can't forgive. Oh no, maybe it's a cover-up, 'cause it didn't fit the narrative. To err is human, but how can we forgive a commander-in-chief who stole truth, lies,